we have been following up with the pandemic disease of coronavirus, and as People Power, we have found it helpful to do the sensitization and the awareness about that, about the coronavirus. Yeah, with me, I have a team of doctors from People Power. I have Dr. Mirembe Joel and Dr. Sembo Garoy. We shall be having communications from them, awareness about coronavirus infection, about coronavirus. Let's have our speech, first person as Dr. Joel.
Hello, everyone tuning in at our social media platforms. My name is Dr. Mirembe Joel, an ardent supporter of the People Power movement. Today, we come here to show our commitment once again, which we have been already having, in joining every agency, every citizen to stop the spread of coronavirus, a pandemic that has affected almost each and every country except a few. So the reason why we're here, we shall put it just in 3 statements. One, we want to allow to sensitize the masses about, one, what coronavirus is, the signs, the symptoms, how to prevent it, and at the same time, we shall at the end put a voice to government to address gaps that we have actually already identified in the response that government has mounted. So by the end of our session, we would love everyone who will get this information to be able to accurately communicate about COVID-19, also to be able to practice the prevention practices, at the same time communicate them to another person effectively. We also want to make sure that everyone who receives this message will be able to quickly identify any suspicious case and report it to the respective authority for action. Before I proceed, I want to let you know that if you want to stop COVID, you must stop it before it enters your body. And if it enters your body, you must make sure it doesn't leave your body to go to another person. So, what is coronavirus? We have had since December 31st, 2019, when the first case was reported by the Chinese authorities. We went through who came in January, confirmed the first human-to-human transmission. Also, 11th recently, it was declared a global pandemic. So this is a viral infection that is part of an existing family of viruses that we call corona. But this one, we can call it a new strain of the same family. How does it present? Fever has been reported as one of the most common symptoms. We also have flu, we have cough, we have muscle aches, and many other general symptoms which have not been statistically proved, but those are the most common ones. Those are the most common ones. So as we look at the symptoms, we want everyone to know these symptoms and be able to take quick suspicion about any case. So how does it spread? Basically, as we all know, it's a new disease, COVID-19. Information keeps coming in on how it spreads, how it presents, how to manage the cases. We already know we don't have a cure as per now. So how does it spread? Someone who is already infected with COVID-19, when, for example, they cough, they release droplets, which droplets can directly land onto another person who is not infected. Or they can be suspended in the air for a while, or they can drop on fabric like clothes, like you're in a taxi, they can drop on the seat belt, on the seats in the taxi. You are in a market, they can drop on whatever we are using in our markets, at the workplaces. So what happens is when you pick up the droplet using any mechanism, most especially our hands, they will enter the membranous parts of the body. The most affected parts, or the parts which are more at risk to get you infected, we have the nose, the mouth, and the eyes. So what happens as you pick it using your hands, actually, probably you will touch your nose, probably you will touch your mouth, and any other way. So you get it and you get infected. So when you get it, what happens? It takes between 2 to 14 days to develop disease in you. So basically, that means when I get it today, God forbid, tomorrow I may not have symptoms, but the other day I may have symptoms, and actually I am able to spread the virus to another person. So we have groups of people who are high risk to getting coronavirus, what we call COVID-19. Why are they at risk? A lot of research is being done, but let us first know them before we know why they are at risk. So our elders, our parents, that is the elderly groups of people. No wonder we have the worst hit countries. We have Italy, because you realize when you look at their population, it is made up of majority almost elderly people. So we also have groups of people we call immunosuppressed in the medical language. That's when the ability of your body to defend you against intruders, I will use that just for public consumption, is lower than what we expect. So for example, you can have a cancer, for example, you can be on some drugs which actually put the immunity down deliberately. So those are the groups, and the infants, the very young children below 1 year, they are at risk. So those are the people at risk, and we want to first put it at that, since we have known how it is spreading, the risk factor, the elderly people, but we want to remind us Ugandans, before we go to the next part of our presentation, the spread of coronavirus is by you. So to stop its spread, it has to be you, not even just government. It has to be you as an individual. It is not about the hospitals this time, because actually when you check in the hospitals, the turn up in the hospitals has reduced recently because of fear for coronavirus. So for now, I'll first call in my colleague to have something to say, then I'll come in and conclude.
Thank you, Dr. Joel. Maybe to add on what the colleague has said, it is very important for every person to understand out there that they are at risk of having corona. They should also understand that the threat is very real. They should understand that corona is crumbling everything from the pockets, the economy, and all the social well-being of individuals. So they should take each and every information they are getting very serious. I want to expound on the spread of the disease, because I think it is important once people understand how the disease is spread. they can understand the measures. Now, there is no clear information whether the disease is an airborne disease or a human-to-human transmission. What is there, you must be aware that this is a very new disease. What we are sure of is that you can get the disease mainly through contact.
Yes.
The information we are having is that if someone sneezes, if someone coughs and releases the droplets from their body into the air, they say that the droplets have capacity to cover up to about 4 meters floating in air and then it drops. Why is it very important for people to understand the distance? That most governments, and including our government, they are emphasizing social distancing. If you are not at the right distance, you can give someone an arm's distance, 1 meter apart, and he coughs and you may think you are safe. This virus has capacity to float in air up to that. That's the information we are having. I must emphasize that this information, because this is a new disease, it keeps on changing, and we shall keep on updating the public as more research advances. Now, also through contact. When you sneeze all cough within your hands, and then you give me a handshake, you are transmitting the disease onto me. So now, what should we do to avoid this? One, we must ensure that we minimize contact. We must also ensure that we maintain or improve personal hygiene. The sanitizers we are having here have elements, alcohol and so many other elements that we also find in jik, bleach and everything. So one, it is not true that when you drink the sanitizer you can kill the virus from within. We have had reports that people are actually drinking sanitizer. You are posing the risk to your internal organs. The sanitizer is designed only for external use, to wash your hands. So if you wash your hands regularly, if you improve your personal hygiene, you keep on reducing the chances of having the virus. So if the virus is introduced onto your body, there are very minimal chances of the virus to break through the hard skin of the body, the palm and the normal skin. Oftentimes the virus finds a safe refuge through the mucous membrane. The mucous membrane is the soft part of the body, the eyes, the skin within the nose, and your lips, but also the lining of the private parts of women. They are also mucus in nature, so you can also get the virus, by the way, through those membranes. So once you get the virus through a handshake, sneeze and everything, it can land anywhere in your body. But why do we protect the hands majorly? Protect the hand majorly because once the virus is in your hands, the one that is moving here and there, picking the virus from here. Now, once you introduce the virus to these membranes, the eyes, the nose, the membrane below the nose, and the mouth, the virus shall have a soft refuge and soft entry point into your body. So it is very important to understand that we should keep our face out of touch. That's why it is important for us to have face masks, because the face mask actually safeguard you from touching your body, but also safeguard the sick from passing on the virus. Another thing important to note that you must have a functional mask. The mask should be competent enough. It must not be communicating with large powers. You might find a mask that has holes. You're having a mask but it has holes. Then secondly, we also must maintain the hygiene of the mask, or we must dispose of the mask frequently. Reason being, if you keep the mask with you for a long period of time, it's going to attract bacteria, and in the long run, it may give you other infection. That is very important to note. Another thing important to note is hand washing. Colleagues, there is a standard procedure on how hands are washed. Oftentimes, colleagues, after washing their hands, they clean their wet hands onto their fabric. You find someone, after washing his hands, is doing this. What have you done, comrade? So it is important that once you wash your hands, you let them dry by air, if possible. Swing them, let them dry by air. So after you washing your hands, then you reach out for your hanky that you've been using to clean your face, what are you doing? Kuba kwaniza no kwoza mutaka. Then hand washing also should be systematic. These hands are compartmentalized. There are compartments within these hands. Sukufuna mazi and you go away. There are standard procedures, and I want to take you through those procedures of hand washing. One, once you get your hands like this, preferably with soap and warm water. Now, once you get your hands like this, wash them in the palms. After washing the front of your palms like this, go to the back. Wash in between the hands and the back. Do the same for the other for that side of the hand. Go inside the palm. Scratch the tips of your fingers inside the palm. Do the same for the other side. After that, clean the tips of your fingers and also clean the other tips of your finger. Go for the thumb. Wash it. And also do the same. Then let the hands again through running water and let them to dry by air. The other mistake that we always do is that we open the tap while we are washing, and after washing, once you open the tap, you are contaminating the tap. So after washing your hands, you again touch the contaminated tap and you think you are fine. So it is important when you start, first disinfect the hand of the tap. You can wash, or if you have a pedal tap, the taps where you just press and then water comes, then you move your feet. I wanted also to address, to divert the attention of the public, and as to why we think you cannot separate governance from health or any other sector. It is important that the leaders of society are up to speed of what is happening. We appreciate, this is a personal opinion, we appreciate the intervention by Ministry of Health, by the government, and we want to thank them. But in my personal opinion, I think some things are lacking. For example, why do you wait first to receive infected individuals for you to close the border? Literally, the first thing you would have done is to seal off the borders to prevent entry, to restrict entry, to weigh in on entry. That's the first thing that we should have done. Second, you realize if you've been following keenly, that the moment we introduced preventive measures, there was a supplementary budget paper for borrowing money. That is an indicator that the government hadn't prepared itself for this. Thirdly, it is important to note, colleagues of the public, that people who are quarantined are told to pay a particular amount of money for them to be quarantined. That is also very dangerous. Literally, for right-thinking government, what could have been done? There should be quarantine centers from serious hospitals. Uganda, given the nature of its climate and environment, it's a hub of microbes, disease-causing organisms. We should be on the look. That's why we're always hit by Ebola, by cholera. The way we love the environment, the same way the microbes, the disease-causing organisms, love our environment. If you look at conditions under which coronavirus can thrive, those are the normal living conditions that we have here. In some other countries, they have extreme temperatures. So for us, we think that government needs to do more. They need to allocate more money to the Ministry of Health. The thinking that if you boost the economy, it will increase or improve the health of individuals is wrong. When you have a health population, you have a health economy, not the other way around. As we can see, borders are being closed, businesses being altered, the economy is crumbling because most of the governments and countries never paid attention to the health sector. Governments should also change their priorities when they are spending. So this and much more we shall be coming, but pure today we have been talking about how the disease spread, how you can prevent the spread, and much more. We need to encourage the public to stay calm absolutely come, because this is a disease that we can manage. This disease is not going to be fought in the hospitals. As of now, there is no cure. So the people who are the front line are the citizens themselves. Every citizen must play their role. Politicians, different political entities, church leaders, cultural leaders, and the mwananchi, the muntu wa wansi, must play their role. Stay home if it is necessary, so that we can curb the spread of this disease. I want to thank you. People power, our power.
Well, I think we just one more point. So before we close, we wanted to encourage the parents. Now that the children are at home, so what is next? They are going to move from one home to the next home. That means if one family has a victim, that other family will be affected. So I've got the parents have got first to learn this and sit their children down and teach them the intervention on a round table for them to understand how bad the disease is, how it is spread, and how the children can actually participate in the spread. And also, people should know that actually viruses need a host to survive. We have got to deny them the host by making sure they don't enter our bodies. And lastly, coronavirus, 87% of the suspects have recovered actually. 14% have got a worse case of the disease. 5% of those have actually needed intensive care unit support. Now, in the Ugandan setting, currently, without coronavirus, even the rich people fail to get ICU. In fact, they die when they have their money, because we have very few ICU beds. Mulago has very few, and a few other private ICU facilities available. So we want to send a message to the government. We are not sure. We are doing everything it takes to prevent COVID, like Italy did, like most likely the US did, but they're having cases are rising. That means we have to prepare to have a mechanism to save our people in case, because like I said at the start, we have the mild form of the disease, the moderate, and the severe one. The severe one is what we call Senyiga H0. I'll use Luganda because it's the other local language that I just understand. Senyiga H0. We shall get other comrades to interpret for us Senyiga H0 in Acholi, in Rusoga, in Runyankole. So Senyiga H0, when it comes, it is what actually is claiming the lives of the people who are dying. But as a country, we are not prepared. We want to ask the government to prepare for these cases. Otherwise, currently, 90% of the people who actually probably need ICU cannot access it even when they have their money. But when it is available, the cost is very high. ICUs in Kampala are charging between 750 to 1.5 per day. And when you go back to the issue of actually Comrade Roy mentioned of charging people who are being quarantined, these people never prepare that they are going to get coronavirus at such a time, so they should reserve some money. So we call upon the government again to find mechanisms whereby everyone can be quarantined without costs, because the cost is scaring away actual people. Recently, today in the morning, the minister mentioned that people were running away from the facility. People were crossing borders because probably they cannot afford these costs. So we need to look at the socio-economic factors as we bring in the intervention. I want to conclude and say, people power,
Our power.
our power.
People power.
Thank you very much.